Yeah. Yeah, life hack, exactly. An actual life hack. Holy cow. I think this deserves a holy cow because Willie Doo's been like living in this place, rearranging things.
Yeah.
It's like maybe we're going to put the couch in the right spot for once, or the chair or something. Like maybe we're going to finally figure out what this should be. We had the walls used to be black, now they're white.
I heard that. Yeah.
This stuff used to be down there, now it's down here. This stuff used to be in that corner, now it's over here. We're making good use of this beautiful TV finally.
A whole new set.
It's a whole new set. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Karl Conrad on the show today. There's a lot to talk about. I'm happy that we have you here because they've been releasing stuff, these companies, this month.
Yep.
There's been, I don't know, you probably talked about some of it on your channel. I see the most recent up. You didn't talk about the Pixel, though.
So funny enough, I was just telling this to Will. Mm-hmm. My Pixel got lost in the mail.
Oh, right.
I got an email from Google saying, oh, sorry, we couldn't, locate your package.
Yeah.
Lost in transition. So here I am with no Pixel 6.
No Pixel.
Yeah.
We had our own Pixel problems.
Yeah.
Pixel border problems.
Oh, yeah.
And so our video was a bit delayed, but we just slapped it out there. We just got it done real quick. I have did you see it yet? You want to check it out?
I haven't emailed it yet.
Here we go. I'll just give it to you live here so you can at least have a little glimpse of it. This is called Cloudy. Is that right? Cloudy White? I said it in a video. I mean, it seemed like an odd name for a color. I'm going to pass this to you right now. This is some high action, big budget stuff right here.
The full passover.
There you go. Yeah.
Perfect.
I didn't set it up or anything yet, so you're not going to get my text or anything if you look at it, but that's the Pro model.
Yeah.
What's your take here? You're just touching it for the first time, but what do you think?
It's clean.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of, Pixel devices. I felt like this year, we've all seen the leaks, the rumors and everything. It just feels nice. It feels premium. And that's what Pixel devices, I think, didn't feel before.
Right. With the plastics and the painted plastics, or they were sort of metal, but not quite. This thing is metal and glass.
Yeah, so I typically rock my devices without case. I like the feel of it.
Sure.
I'm sure they spend millions of dollars on design
to
make sure that feels good in the hand, and this feels good in the hand.
It feels good in the hand.
Yeah.
So that's your initial take on it. Now, what about the design in general? The visor, the Daft Punk, the Cyclops. What is your take on that?
Also, something different. And it's nice to be a bit different. It's nice to, have something that doesn't have the, the traditional camera sensor. And I dig it. Yeah,
there's something about being in the space that we're in. By the way, for those that don't know, you've been making videos on tech for a while.
Yeah.
There's something about being in this space where you want the new thing to seem new. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, never mind you and I talking about it, but even just as a customer buying this stuff, when it gets repackaged, or if it seems too familiar, for some reason you're not motivated or as excited, something like this.
Yeah.
But even if it is seemingly inconsequential, like, oh, the cameras are in this pattern, or it's this visor look, or whatever, you're just looking for the novelty of something that feels fresh sometimes.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I think that's the problem with the iPhone now. A lot of people will look at it and say, hey, well, what's different from that from last year, from 2 years, from 5 years ago? It looks very similar. Is that a reason for someone to, upgrade then? They'll probably say nothing has changed. But, with, new stuff like this, I'm not saying that. I'm sure if they had a camera layout like, this, it would perform the exact same, probably. Maybe there's some other sensors involved, but like you said, it just looks different. And maybe that's that catch the eye, you're subconsciously saying, oh, maybe it is different. Maybe I'll check that out.
Yeah. Just that initial kind of emotion of, having that because it kind of gets lost. I'm like 2,000 videos here,
Yeah.
and it kind of gets lost at a point because you've looked at so many things and played with so many things that are similar, and you're trying to get back to that initial moment when you first interacted with some of these things. I mean, it's not going to get there because smartphones are pretty much what they are at this point, so long as they remain a slab in your hand. But these small little tweaks and interesting approaches are something that I'm here for.
So because you've looked at it, is there any reason for this Cyclops design? Is there a purpose behind that?
You know what? There's like weird embargo things going on. The word of the day, and you know what's interesting? Now it seems like audiences are so familiar as well, not just us having to deal with these types of terms. And Google did it in a way where they were basically said you can show it. You can show the home screen. Okay. That's kind of where we're at right now.
So my embargo hasn't come because I haven't got my device.
Oh, right. So say, you signed nothing. So go ahead and check it out. I mean, the cameras, obviously they've added this periscope style camera. So you need more space for that. So if you're either going to have a big bulge or you're going to lay it out in this fashion horizontally. I like the lines of it. I don't know if you can tell. I like lines.
Yeah.
Like, it's, Will can switch to the wide and you can see there's lines in this. I don't know, like clean lines and things like that is kind of interesting to me. The bulges always, you get used to them, but I don't know if you remember initial reaction when you had big giant camera bulges in the corner. People were freaking out at first. Yeah. I mean, you can get used to anything. Yeah. But there is something about the simplicity of this that makes sense to me, even though it is also different, which tells you something. If you can get used to it that quickly, then maybe it's good design. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's possible. The Pixel is not the only. I've been a Pixel fan, by the way, so I just put this out there. Like, I've used all the devices dating back. I mean, obviously I try to use as many as possible, but for me, it just remains sort of an event when there's a new one. Hardware, software, some of the stuff. I mean, I'll never forget those early Pixels that were doing different stuff with the camera software than any other devices had done. Like I'm not allowed to say I have been shooting some photos with it. I'm not allowed to say, but I'll just say it's definitely a Pixel. Yeah. I don't think that breaks anything for me to say that. Right. It's definitely a Pixel when it comes to the camera, and you're about to find that out when yours gets through. Yeah. This is not the only product, though. There's another product which you did make a video on. Yeah. Do you know what product I'm talking about?
MacBook Pro.
What can you tell me about that?
I mean, I just did a little recap of what happened at the keynote. It's cool to see. I mean, Apple didn't fully admit that, we took the ports out. We were wrong. It's Apple takes the ports out, and then they come back X amount of years later. We're reintroducing these. They're here. This is what a Pro device is. So it's not like they're saying they were wrong, which I think they were before, to take out an SD card slot. Every creator needs that. And now they're back. Now they're back with MagSafe, and they're going to say, "Oh, wow, it's it can charge this many times faster." It's these graphs, which are pretty funny.
I was laughing at those graphs. The shape of those graphs is just like these vague, upside down, smiley face type of graphs. I mean, it does. I don't. The reason that I'm not really making fun of it is because I know what they actually did with M1. So I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that with the Max model or just the regular Pro model. I don't doubt their graphs. Yeah. No matter how many upside down smiley faces are on there, I don't doubt their graphs. Yeah. But this obviously satisfied a lot of people, man. I saw Twitter was going. Nuts. I saw people in this community. Everyone was posting their screenshots of spending like $7,000 or whatever Canadian. Yeah. Or I think you can spend $6,100 US, or you can spend like $7,400.
I think they have like an 8 terabyte Canadian option. Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Right. But for like $2,500.
Yeah, if you've got the money.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Apple has that ability, don't they? They have that ability to pull 7 Gs out your pocket, which is very unique in the space, and quickly, like without consideration. Yeah. The event just happens, and then all of a sudden you're $7,000. There's $7,000 less in your pocket. What did they do to you? How? It's not like. I mean, I can imagine if all of a sudden you hit a button and your video was edited, and there was some innovation that
take my money.
Exactly, but for the average person who hit that button to buy, how many seconds of the day is it going to, like, how big of an alteration on their life is it going to have?
So, and that's the question. Are you looking at, you know, that 1% or maybe say 5% on Twitter that are buying these? How many of those people are keeping them? It's just, oh, maybe I'm buying them because I want to take a look at it. But who can actually afford a $7,500 computer?
Well, if you read the comment section, they would say YouTubers.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of what's weird about it. There is a discrepancy there where we publish this content that makes it seem super normal to do these abnormal things.
Yeah.
And so you have to assume that at some point a new normal can possibly be created in which people do feel that they should be in that group or category, that it should be easy to pull the trigger on 7Gs. But I don't know, man. I would feel very hesitant to recommend such a thing. But but it seems really normal to post the picture of it.
And I think that's where it's tough. You know, when I actually have to think about this, when I'm creating content, it's, you know, not everyone is obviously upgrading every year. Not everyone is dropping, you know, fully maxed out iPhone, $2,000, you know, $1,000 on a phone here. That's not the norm. But we're just so in it where every day there's a new product and every day it's, thousands of dollars. It's tough to, you know, kind of look at the normal person and say, hey, that's not actually happening.
It's tough to keep it real.
Tough to keep it real.
It's tough, yeah.
Tough to keep it real.
I mean, because you get further and further away from most people's reality, which is strongly considering these things. It even gets crazier because then you would see the ship date slipping. People start to post, oh, great, now I have to wait till December. And then so everyone else gets frantic and supply and demand takes off. Look, from a technical perspective, I like this MacBook. People in here use, we have a mix of PCs and Macs in here, but people have been getting, honestly, a lot of productivity out of M1 and like an iMac, and we have the 13-inch MacBook Pro. And people, I mean, like when we were trying to push how many clips, we're trying to push like 50 clips at one time. I'm looking at Will right now. And you've got maybe 30, 40 gigs of 4K content, and you have a timeline, and it's like, could be like 3 hours. This is not something you would typically do. And then you're making these chops and doing all these exports, and that's where those little performance improvements can actually pay off, is when you have that multiplier effect of in a real production type of scenario. And moving just to the regular M1 was a big improvement.
Huge.
So you can imagine once Willie Doo gets his hands on this, maybe he's going to get back to posting clips and stuff.
Yeah, one day.
Because Will, people blame you for everything that's happened here.
I know, yeah.
You're getting blamed left, right, and center, so you got to get back to those clips. Anyway, so did you end up ordering one of these?
I did.
You did.
I did.
You did.
I mean,
You
have
did.
to.
You
have to.
did.
Yeah, I did. I actually went with, I ordered both. I'm not going to keep both. I like the smaller form factor. I like the 14-inch. And people like that, you know, portability. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm coming from, you know, an M1 MacBook Pro right now. And if those graphs are anything to, you know, if I can get any more improvement, that's great. Not that I'm shooting, you know, maybe your guys' level production. I'm just, you know, I'm still shooting in 4K. I find that it does, you know, bog down a bit. But
yeah, the 14 is interesting because I think it has some of that new factor that the Pixel has. You never saw a real MacBook Pro with dedicated graphics smaller than 15.5. I mean, you had the 16 recently.
Yeah.
So this is at, 3.5 pounds. I mean, that's an incredibly portable package. The only hesitation I had on a 14-inch was just taking a hit on battery life.
Right.
By about 5-6 hours. So, you know, that's well, by the way, which spec did you get?
I chose the one with the lowest shipping amount. So whatever that was, I was like, oh, this one ships at the quickest time. I'm just going to get this.
So the silver one, I think.
So the silver one?
Yeah.
I think I'm getting it next week. Now it's 3 to 4 week shipping because...
Don't you dare publicize that shipping slip in order to increase even more orders as people panic. I wonder about this, though, because you get the shipping delays, but then I think Apple does keep a certain amount to hit stores on the 26th.
Right.
So they actually have something to launch.
Yeah.
So I would assume at least for some of those base specs, you'll see more of them pop up on the 26th, as long as you don't want a crazy custom order, and probably as long as you don't want the Max model, because those ones, they went it's well into December now.
Yeah.
If you want a Max model, which is probably what Will wants.
I believe Apple is sending over a Max model for me to check out. So we'll
You get to check it out anyway.
Yeah.
And see if it's worthwhile compared to the non-Max model.
Yeah.
Probably not for most people. I mean, it's a huge jump in cost.
Yeah.
Huge jump in cost. And another interesting thing is that power adapter, 140 watt power adapter on the 16-inch model. That is enormous. I don't even know. Do I have a laptop? Gaming laptop, I guess. Maybe 150 or something. Anyway. Yeah.
And I know on the 14-inch model, if you want a better power adapter, you have to pay more.
I saw that.
And Apple said, oh, if you choose the 16-inch, it's for free.
Oh, man, they got tactics.
Right.
They got tactics. They got it all figured out. Did you see the cleaning cloth?
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah.
The $40
Bring up the cleaning
Canadian.
cloth, Will, and show people what's really going on in the world in 2021. It's a $19 USD polishing cloth, but here's the best part. He clicks on it, 6 to 8 weeks shipping. It is more backed up than the MacBook Pro that it's meant to clean.
Scroll down for a sec. You'll see which devices it's capable with, or it's compatible with.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Someone had to type that out.
It's very, or copy and paste
Yeah.
it. It's very, it is a, or maybe it's automated in some way. What a strange, it is a strange sign of the times to have a cleaning cloth, a square microfiber cloth, back ordered 6 to 8 weeks because it has a tiny little logo on it. Like, I mean, at a certain point, we all have to be real about it.
Right.
Certain point. Yeah. That is wild. But you know what? There is fandom and commitment around this brand, which you do have to appreciate, man. People are, it's like you go to your favorite restaurant, you leave a tip. You want to see that place the next time you come back.
Yeah.
This is the tip. This is Apple's tip for the super fans. They get the polishing cloth. Although I doubt that Apple's going to have any trouble paying their bills anytime soon. It's not the same type of sympathy.
So would you do the same? Obviously, you have a huge platform. Would you make an unbox therapy cleaning cloth and charge $15 for it?
Probably Linus does something like that, I would guess. I know he has a mouse mat, and I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that it's a cloth. It's a tough one. I think you can do it. But again, I think people's relationships typically around influencers and merch and things like this is more personal. I think they know damn well what's happening. Yeah. It's like the person is cashing in to a certain extent, and if you want to support them, you choose to do it. Right? There's like some graphic on a T-shirt doesn't make it $30, right? But it's commonplace for people to buy those because they want to kind of they want their enthusiasm manifested in a physical thing they can hold on to, a piece of memorabilia. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it isn't even a good. Sometimes it's not even a nice product.
Right.
But it's just to commemorate their involvement. You go see the band, you buy the T-shirt. I don't know how much you wear. You can't be wearing those tees frequently. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, totally.
Like
totally.
Do you wear a lot of logos?
I mean, I'm a big Nike fan. I guess I wear the swoosh a lot.
That logo made its way into your world.
Into my world.
Yeah, I know. It somehow sticks in mind too, even though I don't have many logos elsewhere.
I prefer it to be unbranded personally, but
it's a hell of a logo though. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of the best logos ever.
Right.
Look at it. Why is it so comfortable?
So I was gonna ask, are you a bigger Adidas fan or a bigger Nike fan?
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. It shifts at different times in my life.
Yeah.
It is funny that there's such equivalency there now. Like that there's a real conversation going on. Because when I was a kid, it was all Nike. Oh, maybe Jordan to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But now, man, Adidas made up some serious ground, and it's a toss-up. But I own a lot of Ultra Boost sneakers, so I would probably say that.
Yeah.
But I also have Nike pants that I wear almost every day, so I don't know. I got like 10, 20 pairs. Look at this. Here we go. Adidas is valued at $14.3 billion. 2021. You're trying to tell us who's bigger out of these two, Will?
I'm going to say
My net worth.
Oh, my goodness.
30 billion. Yeah, I think Nike had a really good COVID,
Yeah.
which is an interesting thing. Obviously, many things suffered greatly and other things did well. Apparently, Nike's online operation globally, China as well, crushed it during COVID.
Athleisure.
Yeah, and what's crazy about Nike is they don't play at all with Amazon or other fulfillment companies. They do it themselves.
Yeah.
Which is very unusual. And there's a whole story behind it. You could buy Nike officially on Amazon at one point. There was like a test period. And at some point, they're like, screw that. We want all that margin.
We just do it ourselves.
We just do it ourselves.
Right.
And you have and see certain brands that have the capability to really do it themselves, even at scale, find efficiencies. And I guess they're big enough to hire the right people. Whereas other companies are kind of stuck to Amazon a little more so. Yeah. That was one of those conversations around Facebook and ad tracking. Okay. I don't know if you recall that conversation at all.
Not too familiar now.
Well, it was like Apple was made some unfavorable changes as far as Facebook might be concerned to your phone's capability to deliver personalized ads. You could opt in or opt out. They've just been making such a privacy play. And everybody applauded it like it was the best thing ever. But there was another part of it, another conversation around how exactly a company selling a thing who is smaller than the big brands who can just like boatload pre-roll or Google AdWords, how do they reach people without being very specific about who they target and knowing something about them? So this would be the equivalent. I just got on this train of thought because we were talking about Nike and Adidas. They don't need Facebook ads, but you have sneaker startups that you'll see on Instagram.
Yep.
And you're like, man, this is their entire retail channel. Mm-hmm. If they're not getting customers delivered in this fashion, I don't know how they might come hire somebody like you or me.
Sure.
But that's not at the same scale where they can just hit the button and keep it rolling. And so there would be some collateral damage to small business. This was the argument that Zuckerberg was making. People are not sympathetic to Mark Zuckerberg.
Right.
So they would look at that and say, oh, how convenient. Lean on the small businesses and claim that that's what it's all about, like as if you're not going to make money from it too, which of course he would. So, but it's like everything. It's not as simple as one side of it makes it seem, just like Apple and Epic and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, you've been on YouTube for a while. How long?
It's been for a while, since 2012. So we're approaching a decade.
A decade?
A decade.
Come on.
So
were you one of these guys that was like almost a kid when you started?
Yeah, pretty much. And what a lot of people don't know, I started YouTube before this channel. I had a channel before this, which is now lost to the YouTube space. But that was at a time when you didn't own the gaming rights to your content. So, I would post content about the first Call of Duty Modern Warfare game. And then you would get a community strike saying, oh, you don't own the rights to this. This is your first strike. Second strike. Third strike, you're gone. Mm-hmm. And that channel had, 70,000 followers, which at the time I thought was my entire life. I was like, wow, this is great. I had that channel for a couple years and then that closed down.
Because of copyright?
Because of copyright.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you try to appeal it?
I did. And they said because, you didn't get written proof from, Activision. You don't own this. You can't do that. That's against our guidelines. And then it just became an automated response, and I never actually spoke to a real person, which kind of bothered me.
Yeah, that was a different era in YouTube, the true Wild West of posting stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew a lot of people in the gaming space at the time, and many of them worried and imagined that it was going to be short-lived. Even those that had made businesses out of it, they were like, I don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
It seems that most developers have responded favorably now. I think maybe with the exception like Nintendo still hates it. I don't know who.
At least they still allow you to post stuff.
Oh, okay.
They'll allow you to post content. You won't get flagged immediately by YouTube, by that algorithm.
Oh, okay.
That, tracks that. But it's funny. Yeah, that was my first channel, and I was kind of experimenting on the space. It was a little bit of tech too. And I kind of noticed when I created a video, I think it was around an iPod Touch, the first white iPod Touch that was coming out. I went to the Apple store because that's what you did back in the day. You never got it shipped to you. And I was like, oh, I know that there's an iPod Touch coming out in white. Do you guys have any in stock? And he's like, I think I saw some in the back. Made the transaction. And as I'm leaving, I heard the manager say, oh, we're not supposed to sell those yet. They're not, available to the public. Ran home, did my little unboxing video, the one take wonder, and it was my first viral video.
Cool.
Everyone was searching for that, and I was like, oh wow.
Have you reached that level of excitement again since that moment?
Since that dopamine hit?
Yeah,
I don't. So there was one time I created a video on, I think it was last year's iPhone. I took a look at every color. I think everyone does that. It was my first trending YouTube video, which I thought was really cool. I was on, the trending page, and I was like, I've achieved
something
great status. Yeah. And then, I would say those two, really stick out in my head.
It seemed like I was just looking at your channel page. It seemed like you have a heavy focus on Apple products. I mean, that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's probably 10 of your last 10 videos, maybe more.
10 for 10. Like they hold this weird monopoly, I feel, because, the content performs. I'm an Apple user naturally. But I would say, there is a focus, but it isn't what I want to just be solely known for.
Because there are channels that exist like that.
For sure.
They just admit it.
Just Apple stuff. Like
that's it.
Solely Apple stuff. But, the sad reality, you don't get rich off of Apple stuff. Not that I'm doing this to get rich or anything, but if you want to sign, any sort of brand deal, that's outside of the Apple space, because Apple will never.
I mean, you could sell sponsorships on top of Apple content.
Sure.
There's a lot of peripheral companies that wouldn't mind being associated with such things.
Absolutely.
So which phone did you select to use out of all these wonderful Apple products?
Can you guess it just by looking at it?
Yeah, that's the new blue. What is it? Sierra blue, and it's the
Pro Max
model. You went all the way up. I feel like that Pixel could slide off that couch right now. Wouldn't that
Hopefully not.
Wouldn't that be something? Yours is stuck in shipping hell, and you decide to smash this one as a response.
Yeah, that's how angry I am.
So you like the big phone?
Just because of the battery. It's I always say it's the device that I think most people use every day. The most you spend the most amount of time on it. So I would like something with a decent battery.
What's an unusual app that you have on your home screen?
Unusual app
that some people might not have, like something non-stock. Nothing?
If you look at my home screen, I don't know where the camera is. It's stock as hell.
Really? I mean, I'm seeing some icons here. You don't have any third party. It's all Apple apps on the front.
I mean, Instagram isn't special. Everyone uses that. Nothing. Stock.
Very standard. Front page there. I guess you have to dive deeper to get into some weird apps. I mean, there was once upon a time. I mean, so much stuff is on the web now, anyways. Or like how many? That's a crazy transition. There used to be such a variety of sites you would visit, and now with social, you go to like 3 places, 4 places.
Yeah.
YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and then everything happens in those places. And if you do end up on a website, it's because you clicked through to it from one of those places. Are you cognizant of the amount of time that you spend on these types of things? Do you try to limit it in any way?
Absolutely.
So what would a limit be for you?
So I don't impose a hard limit, but I would say anything beyond. It's tough because, we work in the space. So when you can argue, oh, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, it's because of work. But when I get home, when I spend time, with a girlfriend, with a dog, I'm not going to be on my phone. I want to make that active commitment to have a real, relationship. I don't want to go home after working all day and just be scrolling on my phone through Instagram.
So you limit it at the house?
I limit it at the house. Yeah.
Does it go in the bedroom?
It does.
It does, doesn't it?
And you catch yourself, you're this morning when I'm waking up, going through the four different apps, just what's new. And then you're just like, oh no, I can't do this.
It's almost automated. Like you're on autopilot. Like you didn't even consciously say I'm going to do these things. It's just once you got it in your hand. That's why they say if there's an app that you're addicted to and you feel like you have an unhealthy relationship with it, just move it further away. You don't have to delete it because people get stressed out about the idea of deleting it, or they delete it, they go cold turkey or something like that, and then they really miss it.
Yeah.
So you just kind of disguise your relationship by moving it like a few pages over.
So when Instagram went down, what was it, a couple weeks ago? It was down for a bit. I used it more then, just trying to get back on, and that's when I'm like, this isn't healthy.
You can't have it.
Yes.
You're like, what do you mean?
I'm gonna keep reloading
what
this.
What do you mean I can't have it?
So is that double-edged sword though? Because we work in that space. We help promote these things, but we know that it's unhealthy.
Well, to be honest, I mean, the work thing has existed before there were guys like us that were doing this on the internet. You would have the dad at the soccer game that's like, this is a work call or I'm doing work-related emails on my BlackBerry or whatever. Like, you can there are always going to be ways to make those concessions. Like you're going to find excuses. Yeah. And so, I mean, obviously you got to figure out a way to be present, be doing what you actually deem to be the right thing to be doing. But it's increasingly difficult the better these guys. I mean, I've been carrying this fold phone around. It's like an enormous screen that you fold open. Yeah. And it's so comfortable once you're there, it makes it even easier to sort of hunker down and just keep looking at it type of thing. And this conversation came up in regards to the mini phone, like the smaller phone comeback. Although I think the latest rumor is that this might be the last generation of it.
That's what we heard, yeah.
But it was just a funny solution to a problem. Is here, and people are using it as a legitimate
excuse to say, because it's smaller, I'm not gonna.
It's funny that like we want to buy our way out of problems, right? That's marketing. Right. We want to just be like, if I buy this phone, then I'm not gonna be addicted to my phone. It's like, no, you're just gonna be scrolling smaller. Yeah. But no, maybe there is some merit to it, because certainly at a certain size, all of a sudden you're like, this is annoying. I mean, you can remember early iPhones, and there's people that wonder. I mean, never mind the Palm phone. What was that called? Just Palm phone. Yeah. It's funny. It doesn't look tiny in that person's hand, but it definitely looks tiny there. Yeah. And you know what's crazy about it is it's not really that tiny if you were to look at a Gen 1 iPhone or something. Yeah. Actually, that's going to be roughly the same.
It's interesting because, this year they made the Apple Watch, what is it, 1 millimeter larger? Oh, now you can use a full keyboard on it. That's ridiculous, to be honest. Like, what am I going to do? Text on my watch?
That's right.
I thought that was the most outrageous thing.
And it's meant to be, it would be pitched to you as being more convenient, right? Because you don't have to reach for your phone. Meanwhile, everyone around you is watching you for twice as long, tap on your wrist, and it's way more offensive than what you might be doing if you just had to pull your phone out. Yeah, I noticed you're wearing a watch, though, not an Apple Watch, just a regular old-fashioned watch.
A good old analog watch.
Can you explain yourself?
Yeah, it's a piece that I never need to charge, so I always wear it. You can probably see my nasty watch 10. Maybe I didn't get out as much as I need to this summer, but I kind of prefer that. It's, a piece of something that, isn't connected to technology. So when I put my phone away, I'm not getting alerts. I can just use it for what it's meant to be for, the time. It has a bit of orange, which I'm a big fan of. It's my favorite
there's a style
color.
Aspect to it as well, right? And that's the thing about watches that has been there before anybody tried to put technology. And it is funny how technology kind of does the opposite, where there's something weird. If you wear an Apple Watch and then you start to notice everyone, all these other people around, it's so, I guess you can put whatever band you want to personalize it. But this one you probably don't bump into a lot of people that have the same thing.
That's right.
I think I feel like you even color coordinate the shoes a little bit. There's orange on there.
I'm just an orange fan.
What's going on with the orange? Today's episode sponsored by Calm. for business, you need to bring some calm to your workplace. Workplace can be hectic. It can be stressful. You need to bring some calm over there. Now, you may have heard of calm on a personal side because this is all about meditation. It's all about master classes. They got LeBron James on the website. Now, what this is about is bringing those features, bringing that concept, but to your workplace in order to encourage a healthier atmosphere. People get stressed out, Will.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they overdo it, those people. I mean, not around here. We have a great time over here, but to be honest with you, anybody can use a little more calm in the hectic world that exists in 2021, including at the workplace. It's amazing. You can jump into the app and it could be like a 5-minute thing, and all of a sudden you can breathe. All of a sudden you go, oh, it's all you needed.
Maybe you don't have to hold that samurai sword.
That's a good point.
With Calm for Business, companies can partner with the #1 mental fitness app to provide support and tools for their employees. They even have programs tailored for mental health and productivity, like their Mindfulness at Work series. Millions of employees at over 600 companies like Lincoln, Irritable, and Universal Studios use Calm for Business. Right now, Calm for Business is offering a 1-year subscription for HR and benefit leaders when you go to calm.com/LouLater. That's a free year of Calm for HR and benefit leaders so that you can personally experience what Calm can do for your company. Get started today at calm.com/LouLater. Thank you to Calm.
We're also sponsored by ButcherBox. The search for high quality meat ends here. Amazing taste, humanely raised and delivered to your door. This is 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, humanely raised pork, and wild-caught seafood as well. Range of high-quality cuts. And it gives you flexibility as well. So the shipping is free. You can pick and choose what you want, when you want it. I even see, look at this, a limited time offer for free turkey. This is all very efficient. You choose from 4 curated boxes, or you create your own custom box, selected delivery, and that's it, man. Nobody has time to be out there trying to select the quality stuff and wondering, like, where did this come from? What is this? Is this any good? And then you're at the supermarket. Then you're in the lineup. I mean, I don't want to see you like that, Will.
Free turkey.
I want you to work efficiently. I want you to get the box to your door. I want you to throw the turkey in the oven.
So I got a box of the chicken drumsticks. Super delicious. I air fried it with some Scotch bonnet sauce. And I had a great time. And with ButcherBox, there's no antibiotics or added hormones. It's packed fresh and shipped frozen for your convenience, so you can save time on your next grocery store trip. You can also customize your own box or go with one of the others. Either way, you get exactly what you want. Right now, ButcherBox is offering new members a 10 to 16-pound turkey for free in their first box. Just go to butcherbox.com/LouLater to sign up. That's butcherbox.com/LouLater to receive a free turkey in your first box. Thank you to ButcherBox. This episode's also brought to you by Stamps.com.
Stamps.com. Postage on demand. Who's ever had a good experience with the post office? Whoever said, you know what the best part of my day was? I was at the post office.
Maybe old people. They like to chat it up.
They really look for.
Yeah.
I don't know how old you got to be, Will.
Well, I do.
If you're like me, then you're trying to live the most efficient life possible. We're running out of time over here, and I don't have time to be over there goofing around, waiting in a lineup at the post office. That is what Stamps.com is about. It's used by so many people in this realm that we're in. People shipping out merch and products and things like this. You can just print the labels and forget about it. No need to go stand around in line trying to ship things the old-fashioned way.
All you need is a computer and a standard printer. No special supplies or equipment. Within minutes, you're up and running, printing official postage for any letter, any package, anywhere you want to send. Save time and money with Stamps.com. And with the promo code LouLater, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in LouLater. That's Stamps.com, promo code LouLater. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again.
It's actually pretty simple. So I'm Dutch, and that's where the color love came from.
Oh, okay.
So I actually I lived in Holland for a couple of years when I was a younger guy.
Oh,
I played some decent level soccer or football out there.
decent level.
Decent level.
Uh-oh.
Decent
That
level.
sounds serious.
I mean, it was.
Is that like getting paid or right before there?
So right before there, when so I lived there between 16 to 18.
Okay.
So I was on a youth academy. The team was called PSV Eindhoven. I'll liken it to playing for the Leafs. Like the Leafs, do the Leafs have a youth system here?
Well, they have a farm system like
Okay.
AHL, but those guys are not 16, 17. Those guys would still be in
Right.
like the OHL or something like this.
There they go. Yeah. So I used to play for PSV's youth team, and it was at that age 18. That's when you're really trying to break into the first team.
Okay.
And since I came back, it just didn't work out. But that was my attempt to go pro.
What was that like being over there? Was that a bit of a culture shock, or were you already super connected just because of your relatives or something like this?
Yeah, it helped that I had a Dutch passport, so I have my Euro passport. I was able to go there as a non-foreign player. So when I went for the tryout in the summer, a lot of the paperwork involved me living there, and because I had that, I was able to move over there. But it was a huge culture shock. I didn't speak Dutch at the time, so while I was playing there, I would during the day go to a Dutch school, learn how to speak Dutch. And then, at night, 4 p.m., you'd go to your training sessions. And it's tough to integrate into a team because 16 to 18, that's a really, I would say that's, when you're, starting to go to bars, especially in Europe. And that's when all the, guys want to go out. And if you can't follow that lingo, because, talking in school, ordering something from a store is very different than shooting the shit like we are now. This is a lot more fast paced. I couldn't keep up. And it's tough because, as a 16-year-old, you want to fit in and the group wants you to fit in. But if you can't speak the language, you're almost like an accessory on the side. It's like you're being like babysat because, there's this kid here. Our team is paying for him to be here, but he can't speak the language.
So do you feel then that you sort of compromised those 2 years? Like maybe you missed out? That's just I'm getting a feeling here that you had this tremendous opportunity, but in a way you also missed out.
Not really. Like the fact that, it was something that I really wanted to do. I thought, when I was growing up, I was going to become a professional footballer.
Oh, you were on that
was
path.
I was, I think I was raised, my dad would be like, okay, this is the only sport you're playing. Just, winter, summer, alternating between indoor, outdoor. So I thought that was my natural progression to, go somewhere like that. So I didn't feel like I missed out in any regards. It was just more of a tough thing on my end to go through being there alone, not having, your friends at the time be there with you.
Yeah, I guess that's all that I meant because of you talk about the years between 16 and 18. That's where my head went. I was like, man, it's formative. It's you spend a lot of time with your pals and I mean, it's like everything in life. It's pros, cons, plus, minus. But if you were so dead set on that particular target, then you would for sure not care to the extent that you would give up the opportunity just based on some sort of social impact or...
Yeah.
But I thought a lot of people spoke English there anyway.
So they did, or I guess they do. I guess the, Eindhoven where I lived, it was, the kids at that age, they spoke a little bit of English, but, when they're having a conversation like this, it's all in Dutch. And, I do recall, they took me to, my first club, and it was, I felt so isolated because I just couldn't carry out a conversation. Like I just didn't understand what they were saying. And I almost felt like I was not like a burden, but I was like, I can't be part of this.
Yeah. You were the little brother.
Right.
Scenario. So you must have been getting around on bike in a place like this for sure. No cars.
The good old bike. Yeah.
No cars allowed. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. You look back on it and it's a unique experience. I mean, you look at us just talking about it right now. It's not, I mean, everybody didn't do that.
Yeah.
So that's something that you have that is a little bit more exclusive. Was this would there have been crowds watching this or?
Yeah, so at that age, you'd have, maybe a couple hundred people watch a game. If you're facing like a team like Ajax or Feyenoord, those are the big teams in Holland. You would have, a decent crowd, because that was also, like I said, that farm system where kids are making that transition from that youth team to the first team. Mm-hmm. And if you're playing on the first team, you have thousands and thousands of people watching your games.
Yeah, sometimes that's the best ticket to get, actually, if you actually care about the sport.
Right.
You go just a couple levels down and you get a nice value on the cost to go, but then also you might be seeing the next stars. Was there anybody that you played with that ended up going on?
So his name is Ibrahim Afellay. I don't know if you can.
I want to see Willie do attempt this. Come on, no.
Oh, starts with an I.
It's an I.
It's an I. Yeah,
It's an I.
it's an I.
And then
AF.
what's the last?
I think Afellay AF, or is it EF?
It's gonna come up.
Afellay.
Oh, maybe not.
Oh, maybe not. Just try. There he is. That second one right there. Oh, he's wearing the PSV outfit too.
This is your guy.
So he went on to play at Barcelona. I'm sure you've heard of that team.
I believe I've heard of that team.
So he's, a world famous, footballer. But out of everyone in the team, he was the only one that made it. And that was one of the key things that, the coach said when I was at, when I turned 18, he said to me, and, he brought my parents over and he's like, Karl is okay. He's good. Will he break into pro level soccer? It's on a fence. You could flip a coin.
Right.
And is it possible for, Karl to go to school when he goes back home? Because most of these kids, that's not an option for them. Their life is football. Their life is soccer. For those that don't make it, they won't have an education when they're done. A lot of them flip burgers for a living after. And the coach was very honest and said, if it was my son, I would send him back home. I'd let him go to school, get an education, because the success rate to become a professional athlete is so slim.
Yeah.
And I just, very honest, didn't have that extra bit of skill that, you need to play pro.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing to think about. I have kids and they play sports, and you get all this like variety of ways in which they're encouraged. And you get into this really weird zone of you're balancing encouragement with reality.
Yeah.
Because kids who say some crazy things and you'll be like, well, I want to support that. But at the same time, let me be clear to you. There's 400 dudes in the world that have this job professionally.
Yeah.
Like I can name thousands of other professions. But the tough part about that discussion is like, this dude is a guy.
Yeah.
He's your pal.
Yeah.
And it actually does happen.
Yeah.
So it really does come down to some kind of bet. It's some kind of bet that you're making on yourself. And as it is with a lot of bets, many end up irrational. And it comes down to like who, but like you said, at least you were at a stage where I think from a maturity perspective, you're like whatever, 16, 17 or 18 or whatever, where you can kind of handle the reality of it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Because it's tougher, I think. You see, this dude was PSV Eindhoven, age 10.
Age 10, yeah.
What a path, man.
Right?
What a path, age 10.
Yeah.
It's wild. But it's just not a lot of people that end up taking those spots, and you have the whole globe to choose from. And it's like, damn, it can be be a fraction.
What the team did, a lot of their players would, they would get a lot of kids from, Morocco, Turkey. There's a high population, of those kids in Holland, and that was their life. They did not have another option. Even when I was at school learning Dutch, they were still playing. And I think a part of me knew inside I didn't have that. I liken that to a bit of magic that, when you play against a guy like this, or, someone who's that next level, they're almost thinking a bit in advance. They almost seem to know what you're going to do or where the ball is going to go. Something it's hard to describe unless you felt it.
Well, yeah, that's the famous Wayne Gretzky quote was to skate where the puck is going. it's like a kind of weird fast predictions
Yeah.
that you're making about what's going to transpire in the play.
Yeah.
Instead of following it, you're just making more accurate predictions than other people.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's not. I mean, obviously there are physical gifts involved. I mean, I don't know if you want to call them gifts or whatever. Physical abilities are involved, but the part of it that gets overlooked sometimes is the decision-making stuff.
Yeah.
Those types of predictions, fast thinking. I mean, you have split second with this stuff, and the higher level you get, I didn't play soccer. I played hockey.
Yeah.
But the higher level you play, even at this point as an adult, I still play.
Yeah.
The higher level you play, the less time you have.
Absolutely.
The shorter period of time you have to make a decision. So there's a huge thinking component to it.
Yeah.
And you can absolutely feel it if you find yourself in those types of scenarios. So anyway, at that point you come back, you went to school, and then how does that equal YouTube?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So I came back, I went to school at U of T, University of Toronto. And I took kinesiology. I thought I was going to become a gym teacher. That was my goal. And then
That wouldn't be that bad. Like, as far
I
as
was like, I want to just play dodgeball all day. And then I think I saw, I would watch YouTube a lot more when I was in school. I had way more time, and I'm trying to remember if there was someone in particular. I don't think so. But as I said, I started that first channel with gaming. That didn't work out. The second channel with tech.
all these early thumbnails look like mine. You know what I mean? In that era, this is what thumbnails looked like. It was just like a grab, a frame.
But then I've always been into tech. Maybe not so much the technical aspect. It was more, that's something new. It's nice. It's cool. Yeah. Let's check it out. And I slowly started just kind of unboxing everything that I got my hands on.
For sure.
And then after a couple years, it was like, I have beer money. This is great. That was the initial revenue that I got. I can afford to go out to some bars. And then it was like, oh wow, I'm making part-time money. I'm making full-time money. Like that's the progression. There was never an instant moment where I blew up necessarily. It's just been that constant grind of producing, the one take wonders. My camera's getting into focus, little point and shoot that I had. For the first little bit, I never showed my face because I was terrified. And I was just more, showing off, devices like this.
Yeah, well, and also it was completely, there was no manual for it, so it just seemed like the obvious way. I mean, the video is about the phone. Let's just show the phone, and the other elements, production elements, came at a later date when the platform changed and the viewership changed, and it just sort of progressed. Obviously, What's an interest of yours that people are completely unaware of? That you haven't showcased in any way? Does it exist? Is there such a thing?
Absolutely. I love things like a lot more than tech. So that soccer thing, that not a lot of people knew that I played soccer. Everyone's asking, why do you wear orange? What's the whole thing about that? I love sports. I love to work out now. I love to stay active. That isn't portrayed in any of my videos. Even though, some of the comments ask like, what's your workout regime? What's your diet like? That has nothing to do with the tech.
Do you stay away from that?
It's not that I stay away from it. It's just, and that's where I struggle with, on say like my YouTube channel, it's, that was the bread and butter. It was, tech. That's, what I knew. On Instagram, I made that switch. It's such a weird term. Lifestyle that's so broad because lifestyle for you is different. That's different for Will. That's
I never
different.
understood the term lifestyle. I don't get it.
Because it differs.
But also just like what lifestyle.
Right.
I mean, that's everything.
That's everything.
Everything has to fit in to some extent into your lifestyle.
So there's a pic of me, working out with my squat rack that I got during COVID that was like worth more than gold. I love to stay active.
So on Instagram, it gets more personal. Is that what we're saying here? That's what I'm seeing.
It's become, I guess Karl has become a brand itself. Karl Conrad is now a brand.
Whoa.
It's a brand that's,
Karl has become a brand.
it's being shaped, right? It's being shaped.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to me because nobody shares everything.
Right.
It's impossible to share everything. Not that you would even necessarily want to. I mean, it's probably been tried. We talked about like game streamers and things like this. There's a lot of sharing going on, but people finally curate like how they portray themselves on the internet. And in many ways, I mean, your profile is one of many that like stuff looks good. Like, look at this. This is a great time. Like everything's going well here.
But that isn't the reality, right? But Instagram, just like every platform, every social media, that's the nice icing on the cake. No one sees.
So what is the reality then? Go ahead.
What is the reality?
What is the reality?
To be successful, to, say you're talking about YouTube success, Instagram success, it's never documented that you are, Friday night, you're grinding away doing like the edits, the 7-8 hour edit slog. I was talking about this with Will. I do this all myself. No one sees that part of it. Everyone sees, oh, I'm hanging out on my balcony. I'm driving my car. Like, this is great. It's a lot of work. These things, don't come for free. Like they require that work that goes in. But no one, I guess, sees that side to it.
Yeah. Well, it's also partially our problem with not really knowing how to portray it. Like it's like, I think it's a very difficult thing. No one would want to watch that or choose to watch. I mean, not no one, but there's people who watch editing streams.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Like it's a live stream of a person editing a video, and damn, if you watch that, you may have a different appreciation for what what goes into that 10 minutes.
Yeah.
There's this one dude. Remind me the dude. Gotta give him a shout out, Will. You know which dude I'm talking about? The Hillier, I think his name is Smith. Look him up. This dude. No, that's not even close.
What does he do?
He's an editor. There, Hillier Smith. This dude. You got to check this dude out, man. I think he was editing Logan Paul vlogs for a period of time when he was still doing that towards the end of it.
Okay.
And now he's got his own channel.
Yep.
He may have even had it somewhat at the time, but he's got a couple of videos just talking about like breaking down other people's edits.
Right.
I think there's one. Yeah, there's one over there. Anyway, point being, it's a great channel, and my understanding he's a cool guy as well. But this is the type of content that will give you insight into what actually it's actually like to be one of these content producers, because outside of these breakdowns, which are like 10 minutes long, he also does those live streams where it would be the actual real time
of him editing. Okay, so now he's breaking it down, what he's doing,
why he's doing it,
right,
so on and so forth. And I don't know. I find it to be really interesting. Maybe it's too insider for a lot. I mean, do you need to be an editor to appreciate it? I didn't. I found it to be interesting regardless.
Right.
Because he's talking about small, minute decision making, which I appreciate in general.
Yeah.
And for example, recently, I've been getting into, because I mentioned that I play hockey, I've been getting into skate blades, steel.
Okay.
And a variety of approaches to small, tiny, incremental changes to the way you sharpen it, and how that has an impact on the type of game that you play. So you have something inside of a steel hockey blade called the hollow, and that's the empty space inside of each edge. Now, you have certain standards that people use, like 5/8 or 1/2, and depending how heavy you are, and depending there's just like weird trial and error to it of just how you operate and whether or not you want to have more agility or more glide, less friction, things like this. And I'm not lying to you right now. I'm watching skate sharpening content.
Yeah.
This is, but you'll be like, who would even, people be like, boring, right?
Well, that initially, I think, maybe when we've been doing it for, a decade plus, people thought I was an idiot for creating, I'm taking a product out of a box people in school were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I don't know." Some people find it interesting. Just like this, I'm sure some people,
No, they do. This is
Right.
never going to be as big as the
Right,
new
right,
iPhone, though.
right.
Like, I think we're
Right.
inside this. Like, look at this guy, okay? Just scroll down a little bit, Will. Scott Scooter Jess shows the proper way to sharpen skate. Do you see how deep I'm talking? It's a
Yeah.
9-year-old video.
Yeah.
And we have more. There's automated systems now. You have, I have a skate sharpener called the Sparks, which is like, that's the new age. You just place your skate in, you can't screw it up,
Right.
type of thing. It's all there. You can see it, like it's portable.
Okay.
And you just make some small adjustments to the wheel and you do it at home. Not to say that there's not any merit to the techniques. Plenty of people will use the Sparks and still screw up their skate. But just hearing experts talk about something they've dedicated their lives to, just hearing a guy who works in a pro shop or is an equipment manager on a team talk about the importance of an edge or some minute kind of strategy to get the results that somebody's looking for. I don't know. I find that to be somewhat captivating.
I think if you have an expertise in any area, that's captivating in itself. So with this Sparks, have you found a difference in how you skate,
I mean,
or is that really like the top level?
Can I just explain to you? It goes even deeper because it starts with the hollow, but then you get into things called profiles. And well, just type skate profile, skate blade profile. Profiles, because you have a radius. This is getting insane. You have a radius, right? There's a curvature to the blade.
Yeah.
And there's standards that people have used forever. But like, check the top frame there. What is profiling? This creates 4 separate sections of the blade, each with its own characteristics and independent curvature. And you can see you have at the front of the boot is tuned for acceleration. You cannot do this on any skate sharpening machine. This is the type of thing most people are going to go to a place for this,
right?
Because you need a specific machine. Pro Sharp is the machine that does it. I don't know. It probably costs $60,000-$70,000. There you go, Pro Sharp, and it's taking steel off different sections
of the blade
in different amounts to create this. So I'm currently testing what's called a quad 1 profile.
Okay.
With a 5/8 hollow. I was pretty happy about it. I found I had to be cognizant of pivoting from forward to backwards a little bit more than when I just had a standard 5/8, but I did feel slightly more stable when leaning back or hitting the brakes. So, but here's the thing about how crazy this experimentation is it's not even really fair to judge it after one skate.
Right.
What you really got to do is commit to, there's mine, quad 1. So yeah, go back a little bit here. Quad 1
right
is a 6-foot radius, 9-foot radius, 12-foot radius, and a 15-foot radius. Those are your 4 different, that's why it's called quad, your 4 different curves on the same blade. And the radius would be the size of the circle if you were to lay out enough skates to make a perfect circle. So it's represented in 4 total. It's crazy. And then you have flat hollows, and it's endless. It's truly endless because I could be putting these things on and then trying it a couple times, and then now I have all this extra steel laying around. I clip these blades in order to see if I can tell the difference and be like, oh, that one's better, that one's worse, and then it's all on top of the fact that I might be tired that day because this is not what I do professionally at all. And it could be a variety of other factors that have influenced everything that's happened. It's impossible. It's like the algorithm or something.
That's funny.
But
you got to get some of the guys from the Leafs to try that out.
They're already on it.
Yeah.
No, man. They're so dialed and tuned. They'll replace the holders, and they're just so specific about steel. And these guys have had 20 plus years to become used to whatever they're used to, and then on top of that, add superstitions, which you played sports long enough to know. People had to tie my left before my right, or people will have to put on their skates before another piece of equipment. Is crazy, man. You have any superstitions? You're not that type.
Not really.
Well, Not even with sports.
So it's funny. People always ask because I tape my wrist. And why do you tape your wrist? Is there a reason? And it's because I wear a watch all the time and I have the dirtiest watch tan, especially in the summer.
That's the only
That's
reason?
the only reason, but people thought that was a superstition.
Right.
And it would just be, I'm just hiding this nasty white line.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's
How about you? Any
I don't know. I'm trying to think right now. Well, I tape my stick blade heel to toe as opposed to toe to heel. People have different and then tape on my shin pads, which is not really necessary because modern shin pads they get pretty tight.
Yeah.
But I've done it since I'm a kid, so I'm still doing that as well. But it's not any kind of like, I don't have a strong feeling that if I don't do such things, something will go terribly wrong. But I kind of get it. I mean, I kind of get how people get crazy with it.
That's funny. So at my building where I live, Austin Matthews actually lives in my building. So I see the guy every day. And I've
Ask him what his profile is.
Maybe that's like the next question I need to ask. Yeah. And he'll just, say something and I'll be like, oh, okay. Lou, that's what it is.
I mean, you might be able to find it online because there's websites dedicated to the gear that like
pros,
especially hockey is such a high-tech sport.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. I mean, we're literally gliding around on steel
knives. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. There you go. Here's his custom JetSpeed FT4s. He's sponsored by CCM. This is just, they're talking about, there you go. He's using step steel, speed blade, XS holder, and step black steel because CCM recently acquired Step. We're really deep right now. We are very deep in the hockey world. People are like, I don't know anything about hockey. He's been with CCM for a while. That's a one-piece boot. It's all types of carbon fiber, very thermomoldable. I like hockey tech. It's a new interest of not new because I've been doing it, but it's become reinvigorated. Is there anything other than what you post, like anything other than tech, that you think your enthusiasm is actually higher for right now?
Maybe not that is higher. Like I'm a big car guy. I love cars, but I mean, I've posted about it. I drive a 911 myself, but that's the similar sort of thing where, I know that you drive a Taycan Turbo S. I think we actually bought them from the same dealership. Your car is infinitely faster than mine, but mine is still a stick shift. It's that engagement that I get with it that is so different. And I know the tech is old in it. I know that, a manual, why would you use that when you can switch gears in millimeters of a second? But I think there's that piece of analog that can be lost when you move towards.
You just got a new car.
This is all that my new car. Everyone says that on YouTube. My new car. Well, that's in 2018.
Okay.
So I am on a pre-order right now for the 2022 GT3. But once again, still a 6-speed.
Right.
And the tech community swears by their Teslas, by their Taycans.
Well, eventually it's inevitable anyway.
Right.
Even for Porsche, it'll be done with gasoline by 2025? I don't remember what they said.
I think so.
Mercedes said something similar. So,
but does that mean having one of those combustion engine cars? Is that you're holding on to something
I hear you, but unless you're prepared to become a collector, it's going to be tough to keep it as a daily. Once it's, I don't know, a decade old or something.
But, okay, so then I'll argue, does that mean no one will have a gasoline engine car in 10 years? No chance.
No, not at all, because there's plenty of 10-year-old cars on the road.
Right.
Yeah, but I guess you just have to expand that forecast, and then eventually, if you're not selling any new cars, it'll catch up, and it'll be I don't know if there's going to be what other types of incentives they're going to use beyond just manufacturers making the decision. But it seems to be an expedited process at the moment. What need is there for a manufacturer to come out and say it right now, to say, 2025. You just put a pre-order on it, and they say 2025, we're done with all that. It's not very confidence inspiring for the gas customers.
Right.
But there seems to be, I don't know what type of pressure it is, or if there's economies of scale where the sooner they make the full transition, the more efficient they can be on the assembly line and stuff. Because you can imagine for them the complexity of having the electric stuff, and I guess Tesla doesn't have that complexity. It's just, although my experience with Tesla has been hit and miss. I'm finally getting that the Plaid. Finally, I'm starting hearing from. I keep missing their phone calls though. Try to call me today.
Is it getting delivered?
They call me right at 9 a.m.
Your Tesla's here?
You can't call me right at 9 a.m. Right at 9 a.m. My do not disturb is still on. I'm trying to I gotta get kids to school, man. Can't be talking about this Tesla. You gotta call me like 10 or 11 if you're if this gets back to you, Roman. Then call me an hour later.
Is it here? Is it ready?
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it is. But I had a weird story with it where like I had the Plaid Plus and the Plaid, and then they just turned it into 2 Plaid orders, and they're like, which one do you want? They don't care because they can't make them fast enough.
Yeah.
There's some people that are just flipping them on secondary market.
Yeah.
They just order it and then just put it like it's a PlayStation 5 or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I think with cars in general now, that microchip delay, we're seeing, back orders. My Porsche dealer was, just for a regular 911, we're backlogged 12 to 16 months.
Who are you talking to over there?
What was his name? Leslie?
No, I don't know.
Anyways.
Do you know Graham at all?
Graham, yeah.
Yeah.
The owner of the place.
Shout out Graham.
Graham, right?
He keeps trying to get me to go to those like
the track events.
Yeah, the track events. He's like, nah, you don't know anything about this car.
Right.
Get to the track event, then you'll get to know your car.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I don't know. I got to arrange all this. And then there's another one, like a winter driving thing.
Experience, yeah.
Experience.
Drift through the snow and ice.
Yeah, I mean, it seems cool. You probably... Yeah, I don't know. It hasn't worked out to this point. How did you find the whole experience of working with these guys or buying a car from them?
It was pretty good. No, I like that's a good experience. It was before I was, in the market for my 911. I was shopping downtown. That's where I live.
Right.
And then I got the same spiel where, we don't have the car that you want. Maybe if you buy one of our SUVs, one of our other cars, a slot will become available for you.
What?
And I was like, I'm spending over $100,000 on a car. I want the car that I want. I'm not buying an SUV.
Wait a second. Somebody said that to you?
Someone said that to me.
Maybe if you buy this SUV,
a slot will become available to you.
Get the hell out of here.
So it was almost like I had to become a preferred customer. Or I could wait,
So who are you putting on blast right now? Downtown or North Toronto?
I'm putting on blast downtown.
Downtown. You're dead downtown.
Yeah, downtown.
Oh, no. I think it's not necessarily an uncommon practice.
It's not.
Yeah, so to be fair.
It's not.
And there's only so many of these things that are made.
Right.
And so you kind of get it, but it is funny, the tactics that are in there for this type of thing. So anyway, so you bounce. You're like, I'm gonna go up to North Toronto. It ain't that far. I know how to get there.
Exactly, yeah. And I reached out to them. They said, we've got a slot for you. You can build the car that you want. You don't have to pay anything extra for it. And I think it still took around a year for it to, the whole process. But I was able to get the car that I wanted.
What type of spec did you go with?
So I have a 911 GTS.
I meant on the new one.
Oh, on the new one.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
So right now I'm still on that wait list.
Oh, you don't have an order for it.
Exactly. Because these GT3s are so rare, apparently they only have X amount of allocations in Canada. I'm not at that level probably. But I know that they are, back ordered. So we'll see if I actually
Well, what spec will you do? Let's actually do it right now. Let's do Will, you got to go down, scroll down. You're going to have to go way down to the bottom. Yeah, there you go.
GT3. There we go.
Touring or not touring?
Non-touring. We got to get the wing.
Okay, you got to have the wing because it's a GT car.
Right.
That's fair. I remember reading on some forums, if you don't have the wing, it can actually I think they obviously found a way to solve it, but for dudes just trying to take off the wing to make it look like the touring, that it could throw off certain handling aspects. But anyway, Go ahead. Let's spec it out right now. This is Karl Conrad's
No.
GT3.
No.
Come on, Graham. Give him his slot.
Right? This is my plug for that, yeah. So there's this color called chalk that I love. It's under that special
I had
color.
a chalk Panamera, so
Okay.
You don't have to convince me on the chalk.
Chalk. So that's what I currently have. I'd go with the same because I think the custom color, if you hover over that, how much do they charge? To the right? $14,000 to paint it in the color you want.
But what color would it be if you could paint it the color you want?
Say I wanted to paint it orange.
But they have an orange.
So this is lava orange is more like a salmon, I would say.
What? That was orange.
Nah, it's not how it appears in reality.
All right. Okay. So you really want the custom color. So,
I wouldn't pay $14,000.
but if it was
No issue.
2,000.
Let's do it.
Okay, and you would pick whatever orange you really.
Yeah.
Because can I just say something right now? I know you're barely into this, and people are like, "Shut up, Lou. Let them customize." I love just playing around these customers. I don't even need to buy cars.
Right.
I don't even need.
I just love to go on a
What I
customizer,
really just
yeah.
need is like Gran Turismo or something. It's fine. It's way better. I don't have to physically put the thing somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm gonna critique already.
Okay.
I like chalk. I've had chalk.
Yeah.
This is a GT car though.
Okay.
This is there's not that many of them out there. Isn't this the time to do something vibrant?
I mean, as I said,
Never mind the 14.
Okay.
What's your vibrant choice out of what's Will doing? now?
Gulf orange. Look it up. Gulf orange.
No, we're not doing custom.
No. That's a Porsche approved color.
Oh, okay.
Gulf orange.
So we don't need to pay the 14 grand.
Oh,
for
so
that?
sorry. Oh, so you're asking which colors?
Yes.
Okay, what colors out of these would you choose? Red, yellow.
Wait, no, I'm asking you. You're not asking me.
From those ones, I would just take chalk, to be honest.
No. We're taking chalk out of the equation. It's a GT car. Come on, man. Pick. Just give us one of the vibrant. I'm not.
Okay,
You can order the chalk, but like.
I would go with their launch color, Gulf. Is it? No. Shark blue? It's the blue one down there.
Okay, on the
yeah,
bottom.
there we go. Shark blue.
Yeah.
Why not?
Shark blue. Let's go.
Why not?
All right, now you can put it back to the chalk, Will, because we're gonna do the one he's actually gonna get. He's gonna let down all the GT.
No,
fans.
there's too many options here. I don't want to go through all of these.
No, but what about the interior? What are we gonna do?
Carbon bucket seats, the full bucket seats up there. Oh, up. Yep, sure.
Yeah, that's a $7,000 option. You're at 200 grand already, man. You didn't even do anything
So
to it yet.
the nice thing about these GT cars, they only go up in value. Some of the few cars that,
Hence the slot thing.
right?
They're like, hey, you're gonna make money on this anyways. This is an investment. So who are we gonna hand this valuable material to? Yeah, I get it. Go up in value. That's crazy.
I mean, pretty bare bones. We don't have to go through all. Like Porsche is known to have what hundreds of options,
I know, but that's the thing I like about it.
right?
It's fun to do that.
It is.
It's fun to go in. I mean, you can change the deviated stitching.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I would get deviated. I would get the orange deviated
See
stitching.
what I'm
Why
saying
not?
over here? Oh, let's just do the wheels. Let's do the
Okay.
wheels. Are you keeping those wheels? You got to go scroll all the way to the top, Will.
So you know where this is.
Of course. I told you, this is just a video game. Oh,
Wheel
you can-
accessories. Wheel accessories,
you can go to wheel accessories right below.
And you can have
Yeah.
a couple different colors. So
Yeah.
either black, I think.
Let's see with the satin black, Will, right there.
So I currently have satin black on my car.
Will, that's a heck of a job you did right there.
Yeah.
It's one hell of a click. Okay, so we got satin black, and I know. Let's see.
Satin neodyme.
Wait a second. What about the borders? Click the one above that. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
You get the blue little pinstripe.
Let's see this. Yep.
Accept
it. See, you've
Well,
done
well,
it.
yeah,
you
well,
did it
yeah,
too.
right?
Okay. Now give us a better view, like from the side. Next one. Yeah. So
Maybe if you had the shark
if
blue.
you had the blue, you could do this.
Right.
Let's see the neodyme. The next one down, Will. Maybe not in this color.
Right.
And then dark silver.
I think I would just keep it silver, to be honest.
Yeah.
So if you just unclick the satin neodyme.
He goes silver. I go black.
Black? Yeah.
Yeah. I go with chalk. I would go black.
So I currently have black on my chalk car now.
Yeah.
And I find sometimes it loses, almost from a distance, it could look like a hubcap. You know, there's just it's just
Detail.
a black hole.
Yeah, you lose the detail at
Yeah.
distance. It's a great point you're making.
Yeah.
This has all been quite a time that we've had here. We've done it all. We figured out your channel. We got to the bottom of it. We know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
We've talked about the new Apple products. We talked about your your football career
yeah.
in Holland, and we spec'd out your
A GT3.
911 GT3 that you can't get because they're holding it hostage,
Just like my Pixel.
and you haven't ordered enough. You haven't bought enough SUVs yet. What a crazy concept for people who don't know about it. You want a GT3? We're gonna need you to buy some SUVs real quick. Damn.